Hey everybody, what's going on? Something I've been wanting to do for a while because I couldn't find it anywhere on YouTube. So it's a bass gig bag shootout. Yes, there are other bass gig bag shootouts going on, but none of the ones that I was interested in. And today I'm going to show you some of the ones that I love the most and tell you which one is my favorite when all is said and done. And the three contenders are the brand new Gator Icon bass gig bag. In the middle, Incase. Sadly, they don't make that anymore, but they're around if you look hard enough. And the Reunion Blues Continental gig bag, which is a fantastic bag. And all three are pretty similar, but they definitely have some pluses and minuses, at least for my perspective. And I'm going to share those thoughts with you, and we'll walk through the outside and inside of each and give you guys sort of an overview and what to look for when you want to get a gig bag. So let's start off with the Gator Icon bag. Its height, as you can see, is a little bit taller than the Incase at 51.5 inches tall. It weighs 10.8 pounds and it sells for about $250 street value as of this video. In the middle, over there, is the Incase bag, which of course they don't make anymore. That is the shortest bag at 48 inches and weighs an even 10 pounds. On the end, the Reunion Blues Continental, also at 51.5 inches and weighing the lightest at 7.5 pounds, also sells for $250. So all three bags in their heyday and or as of now are street valued at $250. So it's an even cost basis, and we'll go ahead and look a little deeper into the construction of everything. And you can see by this side shot comparison that they're all about the same width, so you're not saving any space that way. Okay, so here is the Gator Icon. This is the newest in the series. So let's have a look at this thing from the outside. If you notice, the bottom has some really good thick, heavy-duty feet, which is fantastic. And let's go through some of the pockets. You got a side pocket here on the larger side, and I would say you could put a set of strings in there and some picks and things like that. Then we got the large open up pocket, which you see I have a set of strings in there. One of the things that I think is really cool, besides this little key ring holder so you could put your keys on here, but Gator gave you something that you could actually register in case you either lose your case or it turns up missing somehow. They can actually find this through the power of the internet because it's chipped, which I think is really cool. So this will hold some of your loose stuff, anything you want to fit in here. It looks like it comes out pretty easily. And the zips are really nice on it. Got a nice handle here. Moving our way up to the top. And here's another pocket here. And you can see in here, I've got, picks and things in there. So not a ton of room, but maybe a phone could fit in there. And something that I think is really cool is got a great handle, but look at this secret little pocket, which has your information. You could put your name and address in there, and it pulls back in when you let go of it. It's almost spring-loaded. Check it out, which I think is super cool. So when we spin this around, you'll notice there's another pocket here, and that has the waterproof raincoat in here. So if you live in a place where you get a lot of rain, that fits across the whole thing and gives you 100% waterproof protection. Here's a great little hook for, I guess maybe if you're flying and you want to hang this on something, it'll allow you to do that. Of course, you got another handle back here with rivets in it, and it's definitely heavy duty. And you've got your back straps, backpack strap style, and check this out, what they're calling a secret compartment back here for things like passports if you're traveling, and IDs and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of little secret compartments. And now, the one thing that this case has that none of the other, well, the other two don't have at all, is side bumpers, which I think is great because I'll demonstrate that right now. If you lay the case down on its side, the other cases do not have that protection. And I do that a lot. And one of the other things that I really like about this case so far is the fact that it's the teardrop shape. Some of the cases, including the Reunion Blues that we're going to look at it in a second, have the shape where it follows the contours of the guitar, and the case doesn't open up nicely. It doesn't swing open. And I'll go over that in a second with you. But so this has got the same interior flexoskeleton plastic sandwich on the side, so it's completely rigid. This case doesn't bend, and you can't, I'm trying, you can't bend this in any direction. So it's super heavy duty, padded, and you know, short of being a hardwood case, it's about the heaviest that you're going to find on the market. So let's lay this down and I'll show you the inside. Okay, so here we are on the inside, and you can see it's a beautifully microfiber red line, and it's got the bumpers down on the end and a nice neck strap to keep the neck cradled. And this does lift out if you need to adjust it depending on what kind of base that you put in there. And one of the things that I really like about this case, although it doesn't have any interior pockets, there's plenty of them on the outside. Some of the other neck pockets, the area here where the neck rests on the cradle, it doesn't allow the strap to fit and lay down nicely, and this one does. So, so far really loving this. Okay, let's move on to the next case. Okay, so now we're up with my favorite case that unfortunately they don't make anymore, but the Incase bass case. And I just love this thing. It is travel proof times 10. It's built like a tank. It's got the teardrop shape that we talked about a minute ago with the Gator. And it definitely does not have as much spatial room as far as pockets and things, but it's got one shape out here. It's sort of pyramid shape if you notice the design of this. It's a little slimmer at the beginning, and then it comes out a little further and bevels out as it goes down. And I'll give you a little insight as to what this looks like once we pull that open. And if we get a close-up in here, you'll see there is a loose pocket in here, which you can put something like an iPad, maybe some pedals or things. And then there's a decent sized space when you pull back in here to fit some loose cables or anything you might need. And of course, you have one, which I believe at the time would have been built for, again, here's some strings in here. I would say this was a laptop space, and now I just throw my iPad in there, and we'll take a look around. See, it's got a nice handle on it, and it's definitely got that super strong exoskeleton membrane that runs around this. And if you're wondering what exoskeleton membrane is, it's basically 5 or 6 layers of plastic, hard cardboard, soft foam, and rinse and repeat. And that's what creates this. So again, you could see this is impossible to bend. So unlike a soft case that gets kind of floppy, this is impossible. You can't do that. You can stack stuff on this. You could check it in on an airplane. You could do a lot of things with it. Now, this one does have some dirt on it, but does have some bumpers, which is great. So if you drop the case down, you know that the end jack of your base isn't going to push up into the base and get smashed. So you want that protection. And it's definitely lacking just because it's an older case and didn't have the newer technology. But it does have the backpack straps inside this cover. So if that's something that you want to use, they're built in. And my favorite part of this is it has a single and or double over the shoulder strap, which is great. Unlike the other two, doesn't allow this kind of carry system. And this is my favorite, just in and out, super easy, and it doesn't get crooked on you, so I love that. Let's lay this down and take a look at the interior. Okay, so here we are about to open it up, and I'm demonstrating what I meant about the shape of the teardrop cases. You could see that just opens up smoothly, and none of the interior walls are twisting because they're not in a different shape that contours the neck. And unlike the Gator case, you can see the neck pocket right there is without any kind of, it does have the support right there, but it doesn't have anything that locks it down into place. But it does have some pockets in here, which is pretty cool for things like picks and, you know, whatever else you need, a Dunlop pick holder and maybe some odds and ends that you might keep in there. So, and it's got a really nice black fur. And if you notice, some of the newer cases do have some protection on the inside by the headstock and by the bridge in case anything sharp were to tear this. But this case is probably about 20 years old and has not been an issue. So I think it has a lot to do with how you take care of and string your guitars as well. But so far I've been lucky. I haven't torn any of the material up. So I think that's going to do it for this case. But let's go ahead and move on to our final one. And now for the last one, the Reunion Blues Continental Voyager. Another great case. And let's have a look at how this thing is constructed. So again, outside having some sort of ballistic nylon exterior, feels super scratch resistant and heavy duty, and has a really nice storage pocket here. It's a 2-tier system. Let's go ahead and see the side one here is definitely for the flatter, maybe a set of bass strings, maybe a phone, things like that. Nothing too wide. And the zippers are really, really high-end and smooth on this one. And here's the larger compartment. I appreciate the size of this. We'll pull it open. And you'll see in here that it looks like there's a management system here for maybe if you want to put your cables and things like that. And a pocket, an interior pocket that might hold something like some strings, and maybe you could squeeze a few picks and odd-shaped things in here. And there's another Velcro area on the interior of this one. It's definitely nicely set up for the basics. Not too many, I don't want to say not enough features. There's plenty of them, and it's more for the basics of what you would need on a gig. And I actually prefer that, so it doesn't get in the way and clutter things, and everything is managed in one big pocket. So for me, that's a plus. On the bottom of this bass, you're not going to notice any bumpers for the protection of shock impact if it's dropped. Kind of a bummer for me. I couldn't tell you how many times I've sort of accidentally let the bass slide off my shoulder and kind of hit the ground harder than I would like it to be, and that could cause some damage to the end pin on the bass. But it does have a nice zero gravity handle on it. And again, because this is the shape of the actual guitar itself, when I open this, I think you're going to find out what I was talking about compared to the teardrop shapes. It's a little funkier to open, but does have a beautiful blue interior and nice back strap system, along with a carry-all handle, which is really great when you're trying to pick this up from the ground and you just want to lift it up or put it in the front seat of your car. It's definitely pretty helpful. So let's go ahead and look inside this thing. All right, so now we're going to open this up, and we're about to demonstrate what I've been talking about with the actual shape of the contoured cases. And if you notice, the walls on side want to flex, and maybe not a big deal for a lot of people, but this makes it really hard to open this case when you're standing it upright to pull the bass out, because it really has to be laid down flat in order to get the bass out properly. It does have a beautiful stitched weave in here, some sort of microfiber blue velvet, and you can see it's got the protection for sharp objects on the bridge and above on the headstock in case any strings are hanging out. And let's look at the cradle here, because it's really lovely what they've done. You got a nice attachment going on here, velcroed in, and you can see the bass just sits beautifully in there. And this does lift up, it's velcroed down. So if you need to position that for a different kind of bass, you can. And that secures really nicely and snug, and that bass is not going anywhere once you lock it in. Like I mentioned with the Gator, it does get a little challenging to find ways to tuck your strap in if you leave them attached like I do, but you make do with what you have to. So this is the interior, and I would say all in all, it's definitely a well-protected case, and they've done a great job. Okay, final thoughts on owning all three of these cases. We're going to start with the Gator Icon. I haven't owned it long enough to say it's my favorite yet, but knowing what I know and having the experience of owning these two cases for a lot of years, I can tell you it checks a lot of boxes. I'm really loving the handle up at the front, and I'm really loving this nice big storage unit, which is terrific. Side bumpers make me really feel comfortable and safe that I could lay it down on its side without any dangers. And having this ID tucked in here is really terrific, and the inside's beautiful. I don't know if I mentioned before, it did not have any of the protection over the machine head area or over the bridge. I'm a little shocked that Gator didn't put that in there, but I also have had the Incase bass gig bag for so many years, and it doesn't have it either, so it's hard for me to fault it since I've never had any trouble with the Incase. So, and speaking of the Incase, definitely these two are tied for my favorite cases. I have traveled with this. I have checked it in under an airplane and have had zero trouble with it. So because these cases feel so similar with the flexoskeleton perimeter lines of construction, I feel that this is soon going to be my new favorite, because it's just easy to work with, and again, all the spare storage is just terrific. As far as the Reunion Blues, not having some of the side pads, not having the feet on the bumper, and the contoured shape, which I have found to be difficult to open over time. I would say that falls to the bottom space for me. It doesn't mean that it's not a great case and that it's not great at protection, but as far as traveling and using on the gig, it's a little more challenging. It definitely has to be laid down flat and fully unzipped and opened, as opposed to these two teardrop shaped cases that you could stand up, half zip and pull the base out, which makes life a lot easier if you're in a confined stage space. That's what I want to say. So I would probably say the order is a tie for first place. Of course, this is brand new again, not to be repetitive. So as much as I love this case, it's not going to last forever, and it's showing its age. It's wearing a little bit, but the fact that I can't get it anymore isn't very helpful, but I still do love the case. And down to the Reunion Blues. Absolutely a fantastic case, well constructed, and has been easy to handle, with the exception of having it more contoured for an actual instrument and me learning that it doesn't open as easily as the teardrop shaped cases. Again, it's my preference. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but it's important that I convey the messages of what I have learned, what works for me, and why, and hopefully that's something that you might take into consideration when you make a purchase on your gig bag pursuit. So I hope that helps, and I hope it shines some insight into why something might be useful and or not useful, and things to think about in the future. Until there's new cases out there to pursue, I'm going to stick with the Gator Icon-based series gig bag, and like that.